In Magic the Gathering, there's a little known format called Judge's Tower, which sounds on paper like a sweet MMO where you have to fight Ruth Bader Ginsburg as the final boss. But it's actually a nerd off format. You and your friends get together and play by these rules, which, if you don't want to read them all, it essentially boils down to whoever makes the first rules mistake loses the game. Couple quick examples. You mess up priority, you lost the game. You miss a trigger, you lose the game. You don't kiss your homies goodnight, you lose the game. You really need to be locked in, sitting in the smart guy chair. This is the Oppenheimer of Magic formats, and we're going to be microdosing it like everybody at Coachella because 3,000 people wanted me to build a Need a Judge deck where I have to look up the most abstract rules for each card to make sure they work properly. I barely know how to play Magic the Gathering as it is. Are you guys serious? Now I have to go on a mystical quest to understand how the intricate rules of Magic the Gathering work, also that I could get the judges called on my deck for every single interaction that I'm running. Well, that's fine by me, but we're going to ramp up in terms of intensity as this video goes along, so that way I get good retention numbers. So we're going to start basic. Let's mutate God. But before we get right into that, if you can't already tell, I'm the most unhinged deck builder on the internet. So if you've got a weird, wacky, silly, goofy idea you want me to build, challenge me in the comments down below. The one with the most upvotes I have to build, regardless of if I know what's going on or not. And while you're down there, leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Now let's go full Chernobyl mode. You see, all the Theros gods have this little bit of text right here that says, as long as your devotion to some colors is less than a number, that god is not a creature. It just stays an enchantment. But if we do a little bit of mad science, while the Theros god is a creature, we mutate something on top of it, like this migratory great horn. Now we can turn off devotion because its text box is still on that migratory great horn, meaning it's no longer a creature at all. It's just a thing. It's actually a typeless freak. Call the judges, call the priest. I'm terrified. What a weird rules interaction. Now, we also, in the same kind of vibe as Theros gods, we've got Bello, Bard of the Brambles. This guy turns non-equipment artifacts, non-aura enchantments with mana value 4 or greater into 4/4s with indestructible haste, and whenever it deals combat damage, draw a card. Very nice. Now, every child knows how layering works. You get your god, it's a 4/4 creature sometimes, or it's a 4/4 that's not a creature because of layers. It's actually super convoluted. I don't have time to explain it all. Watch Attack on Cardboard video. He's a good friend of mine. Now, what hasn't been explained yet is the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse. Opalescence, a 4-mana enchantment. Each other global enchantment, you mean non-aura enchantment, call the judge, is a creature with power toughness equal to its CMC, still an enchantment by the way. Enchanted Evening, 5-mana enchantment. All permanents are enchantments. And Humility says each creature loses all abilities and is a 1/1 creature. So this leads to what I call annoying PEMDAS, as if PEMDAS wasn't already annoying enough. If you have Opalescence and Enchanted Evening, you just Armageddoned yourself, because all your lands are enchantments, and all your enchantments are creatures with power CMC, and so they die because state-based actions. Or in a different timeline, you have Opalescence and then Humility, and then Enchanted Evening, and then all your land is actually Dryad Arbors because they're all 1/1s now, but then they have no abilities because they lost them all from Humility, so they don't even tap for mana. It's awesome. The more you know. This brings us to Perplexing Chimera, which honestly should just look like this guy. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, we may exchange control of the Chimera and that spell. If we do, choose new targets for the spell. Where this really gets crazy engine-wise is Knowledge Pool, Hive Mind, and especially Eye of the Storm, a 7-mana enchantment which actually has different text. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery, remove it from the game, then that player copies each spell with Eye of the Storm. For each copy, you can cast it without paying its mana cost. So basically, your Chimera is going all over the place. Everyone's pointing at each other with the Hive Mind and all the other stuff. And then people are looking at the Chimera and calling it the Village Bicycle, which is slut shaming, and we don't do that here. So let's move on to our next category called Reading the Card Explains the Card. We'll start off with Illusionary Mask, a 2-mana artifact where we can pay X to summon a creature card face down so our opponent doesn't know what it is. The X cost could be any amount of mana, even 0. It serves to hide the true casting cost of the creature, because that's important. Check the Oracle text. This thing's insane. Call the judge. It counts. Then we've got Ice Cauldron, a 4-mana artifact where we can pay X to put a charge counter, and then note the type and amount of mana used to pay the activation cost, put a card face up on the Ice Cauldron, and we can play that spell card as though it were in our hand for some reason, and then we can tap to remove the charge counter from the Ice Cauldron. Just why does this card exist? So convoluted. Just pay mana now for a card you want to play later, I guess. Or for like mana efficiency or something to dodge a discard effect, maybe. I have no clue why this card exists. It makes me rage. Raging Waters. Raging River. This has a lot of text as well. That could be summarized very easily as Battle of Gettysburg cut in half. You have to pick left or right, north or south, whatever. That actually brings us to the big whammy of this deck. It all starts with a basic Evolving Wilds. We tap and sack it to go searching through our library. And while we're rooting around in our garbage, we might find a Pan-Glacial Worm, which we can cast while searching. Isn't that fun? Why do they call him Pan-Glacial? Because he will fuck you and freezes the game really hard with Selvala Explorer Return. You see, Parlay is a mana ability, which means rules work differently for it, and it can fail somehow. Basically, I read a lot of articles on it. Hopefully, I got it right. I felt like a kid having to do my homework. Thank you so much for this, guys. Appreciate it a lot. So the Glacial Worm is on the stack. Then we're going to go and tap Selvala, gambling to see if we get enough mana. Sometimes we have enough. Then we can cast the Glacial Worm, no problem. But if we don't, then I'm stuck in the dark dimension having to figure out this Doctor Strange shenanigans that you guys forced me to do. Basically, lands get untapped if they fail to cast a spell. Then Selvala, she stays tapped because her mana ability can't be undone because all your opponents drew cards, meaning it's like a thing that can't get undone anymore. So now, basically, I think one of the authors of the article say it really well. This isn't just illegal, this is advanced illegal. Kind of like James Bond when he put that magnet in his shoes so he could be good at roulette. Basically, while you're using Evolving Wilds and searching your library, you might notice what the top card of your library is. Hey, it's that combo piece I really want. So instead of it getting shuffled away, you're going to use Selvala's mana ability to draw that card, information you normally wouldn't already have, and thus cheating any judge, giving you a game loss. That is, of course, unless you have Platinum Angel. This card says you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. So you got caught cheating, the judge is going to give you a game loss, you point at your Platinum Angel, I can't lose the game, sorry. You go and punch your opponent in the face in real life. The judge says, hey, that's unsportsmanlike, you're going to lose the game. You look at him, you point at your Platinum Angel and say, I can't lose the game. Sorry, buddy. True story, I did this in Honolulu one time. You can Google it. But now it's time for the rapid fire section because there's a lot of weird creatures and a couple weird cards in here that I want to go over. We got some Lycids. These are creatures that you can have turn into aura enchantments on other creatures. It's weird and fun. Then we got Sundial of the Infinite, 2 mana artifact. We can pay 1, tap, end our turn early, exiling the stack. That's some fun, weird rules, right? Then we got Time Sifter, 5 mana artifact. Beginning of each player's upkeep, you exile the top card of your library. Whoever had the highest CMC card get exiled takes an extra turn after this one. That can't get confusing at all, can it? Exactly. Then we can just use Mind Slaver to take control of target player during that player's next turn. Wild, crazy, fun, call the judge. Taking control of somebody opens up a lot of weird angles. Then we've got our commander, Othlam, Sigardian Outcast, and Bajorna, Nightfell Alchemist. They've got the right colors. I like them. And call the judge because there's 2 different versions of them. Universes Within and the Universes Without. You know what I'm saying? Bajorna, you can sack an artifact, deal a damage, go to creature. Nice. And Othlam says, 2, tap, choose target creature card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, return it to the battlefield tapped. Hey, what if we just threw a little bit of a Mycosynth Lattice into the deck, making all permanents artifacts, which definitely doesn't open up a bunch of weird interactions, but you can always sacrifice anything to Bajorna and then use Othlam to bring it back if it's a creature. It's cool. Didn't have to be an artifact, but that way you can get stuff into your graveyard to repeatably. It's a lot. You're going to have to do a lot of Googling for this deck. I looked up so many Oracle text, so many judges' rulings. It's crazy. I hate you guys so much. But that does bring us to the end of the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you subscribe it, subscribe. Shout out to my amazing patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting me. And of course, if you want to join the Discord, it is linked in the description down below. And finally, if you have something you want to suggest, leave it in the comments down below. The one with the most upvotes, I have to build. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.